Where are all the shippers? This is probably the #1 question that I get from anybody on any platform. On my comment sections, my emails are always blowing up with this question, and that is, how do I find leads? Right, and I didn't think it was enough to just give you some information. So in this video, what I wanted to do is actually take you into my computer screen and walk you through the crazy process inside my own head and show you what I do to find leads to call. I'm going to show you the rationale. I'm going to show you my favorite niches that I target. I'm going to show you the tool that I use that frankly not a lot of brokers are using, so you're going to have a leg up on a lot of the competition. All right, so let's get right into it, and make sure you have your notebook out to take some notes. There's going to be some giveaways in there. We have some free resources to give out, and again, I'm going to show you my favorite tools and exactly the criteria that I use to find the most profitable leads. So let's get right into my computer and show you what we have going on. Okay, welcome back to my computer screen. In this video, like I said, we're going to do one of the most requested videos that I get in my emails as questions and things like that. And now I do cover this process in a really thorough manner in my freight broker program. I'll leave the link down in the description so you can check that out. But this is going to give you a really good reference point if you're completely lost when it comes to how do you do company research to find customers, right? And a lot of the stuff that I've seen out there in the wild right now is either outdated or inefficient, right? And when you're just starting out as a freight broker, or if you've been doing this for a while and having trouble finding leads, time is everything when it comes to just about anything in life. So being able to manage your time properly and use it efficiently to find shippers is going to be the difference between a winning broker and a losing broker, right? And I want everybody watching my channel to be a winning broker eventually. You can use this method whether you are an asset-based carrier or you are a non-asset-based broker, freight forwarders, anybody who's just getting into sales. This is going to help a lot. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of how I would sit down and research companies to call for potential shipping leads. I'm going to give you all the reference points I use, the exact tools I'm going to show you, right? Everything that you need to know about researching leads. This is going to be a very useful video. Like most processes and things that I talk about, I'm really a big believer, and I really push this idea that you have to start with the end in mind, right? And all that means is that you have to know what you're doing to an extent as soon as you sit down. You can't sit down intending to do lead generation and not know what type of companies you want to call. You can't sit down to cover loads without knowing what loads you're going to cover, right? So the first thing that you need to do when you know that you're sitting down to do this and you're dedicating your time to lead generation is deciding for yourself, what kind of niches am I going to target today? Now, if you've been following me for a while, I don't promote the idea that riches are in niches. We have built a successful brokerage off the backs of many niches. I go in and out of more niches every single day than some brokers do their entire lives because they just don't have an interest in it, or they think that they're going to be limiting themselves by diversifying. I'm a big believer in diversity. The brokerage growth that we have seen in the last 20 years proves that theory for me. So don't necessarily feel like you have to box yourself into a niche for the rest of your life. That's how you get bored and burnt out in this industry. The first step that you have to do is pick a niche for that session. Right, so if I do my lead generation on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I will pick a different niche to target each day. Maybe I'll pick two, depending on how motivated I am or success I've had in the last few days. I'm going to make this available to you. This is part of my freight broker training program. We have a membership. We have some brokers in there that are getting this hands-on advice from me every single day. This is one of those resources. I'm going to give it to you for free in the link down in the description. These are my favorite niches for researching leads. They're the most profitable. Not necessarily in any order. These are just, I wrote a list of 28 different niches that I've successfully moved some really high profit loads. So feel free to screenshot this, or like I said, just go click the link in the description. You could download this. What I will do as an overview is I will pick one of these, right? So for this particular video, we're going to choose the agricultural niche because I move a lot of agricultural loads. Farming is, it's being talked about a lot with all the food shortages and things like that. So I want to tap into that market for this session of lead research. Common broker lead theory will bring you next to the website called ThomasNet. If you've gone through any of the courses that are out right now, or you watch YouTube, you're gonna have a lot of people saying like, oh, go to ThomasNet. That's where you're gonna find the best leads. This website is, I can't curse, complete BS. The reason is there are so many brokers that are going to it. Sure, some see success with it, most don't. There's too much competition. These leads from this website get calls by so many brokers on a daily basis that you're just really going to become another number to them if you could even get through to them on the phone. You can see here, if I type in agriculture, chemicals, let's just click that here. Yeah, all of these are possible leads, but so many people are calling off of them that it's just became too competitive, right? And that's just because there's so many brokers that are coming into the game every single day, and the first place they go is ThomasNet. So if you're starting out or whatever the case is, I would avoid this. I haven't logged on to ThomasNet in the last 12 years. I only heard about it like 3 or 4 years ago. Still haven't logged onto it to find a single lead. So if you want to stand out from the crowd and go against the grain, which is what I do, then I would stay off that website. I'm going to show you which tools I use. Let's get into the process. After you select which niche you want to target, right? For this session, we figured out we want to target agricultural leads. Now I'm going to take that one step further, and I'm going to say I want to target fertilizer manufacturers. I move a lot of fertilizer loads. I move them dry, I move them liquid. So I know that there's some money there. I know that there's a lot of people moving it, and the manufacturers are there for me to call. The first place I'll go, and I have a page open here, is Google. This is going to help me build the foundation of my search. Every search needs a foundation. So common broker theory is going to say, oh, I need shippers. I'm going to go find the biggest shipper possible that could give me 100 loads a month. And this is a mistake. The reason is, just from a common sense standpoint, you do not want to put all of your eggs in one basket. That is especially true for brokers. You never want to have all your loads going to one carrier. You never want to have all your loads coming from one customer. It sets you up for failure if anything ever happens to either of those parties, right? Rather than go after companies that are Fortune 500, traded publicly on the stock exchange, all that good stuff, I'm going to go after smaller guys. I want family businesses that I can actually speak to the owner who's sitting in the office. I want mid-sized companies that really have a focus of quality of customer service to their customers, right? I don't want Fortune 500 companies whose goal it is to save money for their shareholders every year. And the reason why should be self-explanatory. If you're going after all of these large companies and you don't have the manpower or the skill to negotiate these lower rates with carriers, you're not going to pick up any volume contracts. What I do is I form a base of these big companies so that I can branch out to smaller ones. So here's what I mean. Fertilizer, what I'll do is I'll come to Google and I'll type fertilizer manufacturers, because I know that the top results are going to be these massive companies. So this helps me out right here. Look at that. Largest fertilizer companies by market cap, 9 largest fertilizer companies in the world, 2022. So I'm going to come here and watch what I do with these. I'm not going to call them at all. So I have CF Industries and I have the Haifa Group, whatever that is, based in Israel. CF Industries is based in the United States. So this is what I'm going to use as what I call my base lead. All of the leads that I research are going to be branched off of this, okay? I'm not going to call CF Industries. They're too big. They probably have contracts with 3PLs already. They do these large RFQs with thousands of loads. I know I'm not going to be able to compete with, because the majority of brokers is just 1 to 2 or 3 people working in an office or a house even. So if you don't have a giant team with assets, it's going to be really hard for you to get any loads from a company this large. So here's what I do. I'll take CF Industries, and first I want to visit their website. Let's see what they sell. Right, so you can see from the look and feel of this website, this is a really large company. 1.5 million labor hours. There's a lot of work being done here. Sustainability initiatives, investors. Here you see SEC stuff. I know this is a massive, massive company. But I'm gonna go to their products and I'm gonna see what they sell, because this is gonna give me some ideas of people to look for. So I'm on their website now. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to open up a Google Doc. I'm gonna take some notes. I know they sell ammonia. They sell urea. They sell ammonium nitrate. And I'm sure they have a ton more nitrogen products. Diesel exhaust fluid. Okay, now note what we did here. We started with fertilizer. We went into the largest producer of fertilizer, right, from that website. We went into their website and we see that these are the main products that they sell. Now, rather than just having fertilizer manufacturers, I know that I can approach any company that manufactures these things, and it's going to be very similar to that company that manufactures fertilizer, right? So when there's smoke, there's fire. If I know a company produces ammonia, it's very likely that they produce and sell fertilizer, or they have all the components that go into fertilizer. So first I have a list of products. Now what I want is a list of competitors. But remember, we don't want large competitors. We want smaller competitors. How do we find those? One option is right back to Google. Let's go back to Google. Competitors of CF Industries. It's that easy. You can click on any of these links. Here's a bunch right here. Nutrient, Scott's Miracle-Gro, CVR, American Vanguard. And now, again, guys, I don't recommend calling any of these companies. If you're a small broker, you're not going to get through. You're better off following the rest of this video. Right, so these are all larger companies, so this isn't going to be much help to me. Let's see if we could find some smaller. Here's some good ones. Crop Smart. It's a private company based in Australia. They only have 17 employees. It wants me to join there, so that's going to be no good. All right, and remember I said this is the first place I go, Google. Google's not really giving me any clear answers, right? So now I'm going to come to my next favorite tool, LinkedIn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search CF Industries in LinkedIn. From here, I'm not going to go here. I'm going to go right here. And this is going to give me a few ideas. So I have the Mosaic company. Competitors. Mosaic company. Let's see what else they have here. The Yara. And remember, this is just the start of my research. BASF, I know they're huge, so I'm not going to talk to them. Methanex Corporation. Okay. I have products, I have competitors. A few competitors, right? I don't know if they're any good yet. We're still going to have to vet every single one. But The thing that I'm going to note is that CF Industries is in a much broader niche than I anticipated, right? I came into this wanting to go after fertilizer leads. Remember, that was our foundation. I found CF Industries. I found all the products that they sell, but now on LinkedIn here, what I see here is that they are in chemical manufacturing. So this is gonna put me down a much bigger rabbit hole, because now I know that there's a much broader niche that I can go after, right? Remember, flexibility is really important because we have to be able to change on the dime. So this is my favorite tool for finding leads that we're gonna go to right now. It's called Sales Navigator. I don't have any affiliate links for this. It's what I use. It's what all my agents use. I use it all day, every day, if I'm looking for leads. So remember, CF Industries is in chemical manufacturing. So what I will do is I will come here. Let's go to home. And I am going to put in a few filters. Industry, chemical, manufacturing. Did you see that? Agricultural, chemical manufacturing. Let's see if we can find one more. Chemical raw materials. Let's do that. Okay. And then we're gonna go to company headcount. Remember, I said we want mid-sized companies. We don't want large companies. So we're gonna stay away from these 500 to 10,000. So I'm going to select that one, that one, that one, and that one. Anything under 500 employees is generally a mid-sized company that you can go after. Okay. That's it. Now, geography, you could put United States. You don't have to, because some places are based out of foreign locations. All right, and there's a few more. You could play around with these filters, but usually you won't need to. What I'll actually do here is I'll put a few logistics job titles, and then I'll explain what this is doing here. So this search is giving me companies that are between 1 and 500 people with the job title of logistics, located in the United States, in the industry of chemical manufacturing, agricultural chemical manufacturing, or chemical raw materials manufacturing. All right, remember how we got here. Let's retrace those steps. I came to my desk and I said, I want to look for leads today. I'm going to look for agricultural chemical leads. First, I searched Google for agricultural chemical companies. I found this company called CF Industries. They're huge. I found them here, the list of largest fertilizer companies worldwide. I then tried to find some competitors, which came up a little empty because I wasn't able to tell if those companies were large or small, and I didn't really have a lot of options, right? We're trying to build a really big list here. So then I took the shortcut and I went to my favorite tool, which is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And I did this search based off the criteria that I just said. A company headcount under 500, logistics managers in the United States, in the industry of chemical manufacturing, right? Remember, because CF Industries is identified as a chemical manufacturer. So now LinkedIn really did all the work for me. Now I don't have to go into all of these companies individually and see what I'm doing. So here's where I go from here. Look at all of these contacts just sitting there, right? So what I'll do is I'll take this list and I'm gonna open up my CRM template. This is the one that I give my students in my Freight Broker program. And I'll start going down the list. Shin-Etsu, Microsci, put the contact name here. I'll put their LinkedIn profile just so I have it. Logistics manager. And that's all I'm gonna do for now. Let's do 3 of them. So I'm just gonna go down this list. Hero Cosmetics. Copy the name. Copy LinkedIn profile, logistics, and one more here. All right, so now we're just compiling some initial information. Okay. Look at all of the work that was saved with this tool. I didn't have to go on Google. I didn't have to go on every single company's website yet. All I was able to do was type in this search filters, and it gave me this really long list of 840 results. And I could go all day of looking through these, and some of my customers are even on this list. Okay, so we're going to start with these three, and I'm going to show you how I would go in and research the rest of them. Now, we teach a couple methods of outreach, including LinkedIn messaging. So one thing that you can do is go in and you can message all the leads on LinkedIn, and hopefully you get a response. But our approach is more of a hybrid approach where we combine digital outreach with physical calling. Okay. So just to note also, before I go into this a little deeper, when you reach out to a contact digitally and you make a connection with them, or whether they accept your request or they answer your message, your phone call to them is no longer considered a cold call, because now at least they know who you are in one respect. At least they're not friends with you just yet, but they are familiar enough with you that they're much more likely to entertain a conversation. If you just call somebody up and ask them for all their loads, or you're asked to speak to their shipping manager, they're going to know you're selling, they know what you're after, they're probably not going to let your call go through. But now we can call and we can ask for Mike, and they're much more likely to let us through the reception area when we have a full name. So the next step in my research is going to be figuring out what's the phone number to these contacts' office. All right, I'm only going to find one of them here just to show you the process, but let me show you how I do it. So you see this lead right here is located in Phoenix, Arizona. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into his profile. See, he's been here a while. I don't see that he has any contact information here. So my first option will be to message him. So I could click that right here. I could send him a message. I'm not going to, but I can if I wanted. But here's where he is. So let's do a search for that company in Google. And I see they're located in Phoenix. That means a lot of the work is already done for me, because I have their phone number right here. So we're going to find their phone number. Here is their local phone number. I'm going to put that right here in my phone number box. I have their website. And now record keeping is really important. So that's why this is such a detailed sheet. We put this together to match the same information that we organize in our program. So I'm going to say lead source. I found them on LinkedIn. All right, so now I have their phone number of the local office. I know this contact works in Arizona because that's where he's from, Phoenix, Arizona. I know the company is based in Arizona because I found them on Google search in Arizona. And I have one phone number here, and then when I visit their website, I have another phone number right there. So I'm going to use the one on their website. I can very easily just put the other phone number down. And basically, after that step is done, all you have left to do is complete this list, right? With all of we have a bunch of contacts right here. We complete that list. And then repeat that same step of finding the phone number and going down the list. Now, like I said, I promote a hybrid approach. I would recommend you reach out to them on LinkedIn, either friend them or message them, whatever it is. If they have their email there, shoot them an email. And then call and request some time to talk to them. The reason you want to do that is to give them a little bit of familiarity before you just go on and cold call them, right? We promote warm calls, not cold calls. You could just go down this list all day for multiple niches and you'll have yourself a much more qualified list of people to call. Now, I can't stress enough the difference between doing this method rather than going to ThomasNet. Let me show you what the difference is. You come to ThomasNet and you say you want to call chemical manufacturers. Now, I have to go into each one of these. I don't have names, and I know that this is the most popular website for finding leads in the world. So the competition's gonna be higher, the work on my end is gonna be a lot higher, and it's very likely that all these companies are really large. Look, 200, that's a good one. This one's way too big, not a lot of people, but huge revenue. Right. Now I have to call them and ask them for the shipping manager. Whereas in this method, I already have the shipping manager's name and I have companies that I know are the right size. LinkedIn has a lot of corporate data. It's really worth leveraging this tool rather than just throwing darts at the wall and trying to see what sticks with things like ThomasNet and Google searches, right? It's worth a couple dollars a month to subscribe to this so that you can use this. All right, so let's do a quick recap of everything from start to finish. I'm just gonna show you again, just in case there was anything that you might have missed. I'm gonna show you from complete scratch. So, first thing you wanna do is sit down and pick a niche. It could be any one of these. Like I said, if you wanna download this, this is gonna be available in the description. Just click the link, enter your info, and I'll shoot it right over to your email. After you identify that, you want to identify your base company. And that's usually going to be a really large Fortune 500 company that we're not interested in working with directly. So we're going to say largest fertilizer company. You're always going to get different ones, depending on the website. We'll use a different one this time. Well, no, there's the one we were looking at, right? CF Industries. So you take CF Industries. The first thing you want to do is a competitor search. Sometimes Google will give you a nice list of competitors that you can list down and research to call. If they don't, the shortcut, and what I recommend you do anyway, is going to LinkedIn, look up the company, and see what niche they're in. They're in chemical manufacturing. So I take this information, I jump over to Sales Navigator, and I execute a search based off of a size less than 500 people. I want job titles that have to do with logistics. Put 2 in there. And I want an industry that matches our primary company. That's going to execute this search here. And then I will use these companies here and these contacts to build my lead list. I'll use that to build my lead list. I'll go down, I'll get 25, 30, maybe even 50 leads. And that's going to be what I use to call off of the next day. So I'll track that in here. If you want this, shoot me an email address, an email at my email address. It's lu@freightbrokermentor.com, and I'll send you a copy myself. I'll fill in all the data points here, and this is what I'm going to use as my reference point. All right, it's really easy to do. LinkedIn Sales Navigator makes it such an easier time researching leads. It takes out all the heavy work. So from here, all you need to do really is find the phone number of the office that you're trying to call. Because now, like we said, now you can request to talk to an actual person rather than just talking and asking for the logistics manager. It's a much warmer phone call. You're much more likely to get through reception and any gatekeepers. And this is the way that we do it. Hopefully that made things a little bit simpler for you. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I hope you use this process the next time that you start looking for more shipper leads. Now, this process is easy, but it is not simple, right? So it's really easy to go through these motions, but you do see that you do need to use a little bit of intuitive thinking, and you see how each step sort of piggybacks on the last, right? So we found a shipper with one niche in mind, and then that turned into a much broader niche, which gave us a lot more opportunities that we could go after, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about getting as much information as possible that you can and reaching out through as many channels as you possibly can. So we like to use messaging, email, and phone calls. But we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves into a position where the people we're calling at least know us a little bit, whether that's through LinkedIn, Facebook, or some kind of a digital channel, right? And that is how we do it. That's how I do it. My agents do it. And I cover this process in depth in my program. It's called the Freight Broker Accelerator. It's a monthly broker coaching program. You might be interested in it. If you are, the link is right in the description below. If you're interested in any of the giveaways that I mentioned while we were talking on my computer, that download link is going to be right in the description. Just head on over there, put in your information, and I'll send you over all those resources completely free. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure before you go, you like this video so that more brokers can get access to this knowledge and information, and make sure you hit that follow button so that you don't miss our next video. So until the next one, I'll see you soon.